Meals with salmon, beef stroganoff, boiled rice, green beans. Bon appetit.
Finally, chopping celery. Not essential for this recipe, but I tend to add it as just an extra veg, and it just gives a little bit more substance and nutrition to the sauce. Carving the onions and just cutting them into strips. One of the nice things about this recipe, you don't have to finely chop everything. So just chopping up some mushrooms into slices. I've got a mixture of chestnut and button here, but button's fine. I'll just have to add some chestnuts as well, which will give a little bit of extra richness to the mushroom flavour. That's the mushrooms chopped up. There's about 8 to 10 mushrooms there, depending on the size. That's the veg that's going into the stroganoff itself. Mushrooms, about 2 medium to large onions, and a couple of sticks of celery. Celery's not essential, these two are. To make the sauce for the stroganoff, main ingredients: garlic, just got 3 reasonably large cloves, parsley, I prefer curly leaf parsley, you could use Italian fat leaf, black pepper, either freshly ground or coarse, and then cream. I tend to use double, but you can use single. And just salt. Sea salt best. If you've got something like Noodle, even better, or Himalayan, just don't overdo the salt. So just finely chopping up curly leaf parsley. You need about a couple of tablespoons of this, and I'm cooking enough for about 3 to 4 adults, depending on appetite. So that's about 2 tablespoons of curly leaf parsley chopped. And then the last ingredient for the sauce is a good large glass of white wine. So if you look at most recipes for beef stroganoff, it says use sirloin steak, which is expensive. I've found from experience you don't need to buy that sort of price. Because it's cut into strips, I tend to use rump. So this is rump steak, and there's about 500 grams here. That's going to feed about 3 to 4. Cutting the steak into thin strips. Let's get the full side the other way. And I'm doing the knife at an angle to increase the surface area. It's not essential, but whenever I'm cutting and cooking strips, particularly red meats like pork or steak, I find the thinner and the larger the surface area, the better. Seasoning the meat. Okay, and you can use freshly ground black pepper. I just find these coarse ground are great, makes them easy, and you get a good peppery kick. In the frying pan, we've got a good decent sized knob of butter, and I put some sunflower oil, vegetable oil in there, and just to help the butter not burn, about a tablespoon and a half of oil and a good decent sized knob of butter. Steak goes in. I've got it on a high heat because I want to sear this steak. You can already see as soon as it hits the oil and the butter it starts to colour. So the steak is just about cooked now. It's lovely and browned. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes depending on what's in the pan. Now we start to add the veg. So onions, or if you've got celery as well, they go in next. They need to sweat a little bit and just go translucent. We don't want them to particularly colour. Because the celery is so finely diced, you'll barely notice it, but as I said, it just saves extra nutrition, extra veg, increases your 5 a day, and it doesn't really impact the traditionalness of this recipe.
The onions have softened down, but they're not really discoloured. Now I'm adding the garlic and the mushrooms.
Garlic and the mushrooms have just been stirred just for 2-3 minutes. As you can see, they've reduced just a little bit, but the harshness has come off the garlic now because it's been sweated a bit and it's been mixed in. So now we add the wine. And I'm just adding about half a glass of water as well, just to make sure there's enough fluid to cover what's there. So I'm pressing it down into the liquid, and the rice is cooking. This needs to simmer gently so that the wine reduces a bit to about half. That'll take about 20 minutes. It's simmering now for about 15 minutes with a lid on, and I'm cooking it reasonably high because there's enough fluid, and I'm just evaporate some of this liquid down before I add the cream and the herbs. So this is in the last 5 minutes. Adding the cream, about 100 ml or so. The advantage of double is it gives the sauce a little bit more thickness, but single works just as well. Just before we serve, dinner is cooked. Pour in and stir in the parsley, and if you want it really posh, if you're entertaining, keep a little pinch of parsley behind to put on as you plate up. Here we have plain boiled rice, beef stroganoff version 1. There is another version which I'll show you, which also includes paprika. This is the non-paprika version, and some green beans. These would go well with this. Even some finely sliced carrots and beans.
Else with salmon, beef stroganoff, boiled rice and green beans.
Would you try this out? Comment while you're in below. Please like, subscribe or follow for more smashing foods and recipes.